Hello. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome, Badman. Yeah, I'm Talion. We're here for more of the devil. So, I am feeling better today, but I still have like a little bit of a cough. Hopefully it shouldn't get in the way or anything. Yeah, last time we did some more investigating, and I don't think we learned anything too mind-blowing quite yet. We did learn a little bit more about the poison, and also that there is a biochemist who potentially would have had the means to make such a thing. That's someone to keep an eye on. The other thing I think that kind of stands out to me was that Sarah's value could potentially make a murder motive. So that's also something to potentially keep in mind as we go. Suspicious biochemistry, yeah, very suspicious. So, I don't think we really finished our conversation with this guy, so let's see what else we have to get from him. Let's double check our backlog real quick, just to see where we were. Yeah, just saying, Sarah is super expensive. You spoke differently back there. Oh, okay, so it looks like we did finish our conversation with him. Now we're moving on to just talking with Sarah. With Dawes, you spoke like he did, it seemed. I feel like Sarah is just going to be slowly learning Morgan's ways. Like, yes, this is how you like talk to people and make them feel comfortable with you and maybe manipulate them a little bit. She's gonna be such a bad influence on her daughter. Like I copied his accent? You seem to mirror his affect, his tone. It's called being friendly. What's your point? It was just an observation. You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required. Why were you so concerned about registering me in the first place, Adonai? In my forever toss, you'll remain in our hearts, or may turn out to be a secret android the killer later. Hang on, my chat is a little bit cut off. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Oh wait, why is my display is a little bit wonky? I think that's good enough, probably. For the same reason, I wouldn't drive around in a car without a license plate. Any cop, or even just a well-placed camera, could have spotted your barcode and seen that it wasn't set up with any actual data. And then they would have arrested me, and then they would have thrown me in the slammer. No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker. An android can't get arrested? People get arrested. Property gets seized. You're not a person, Sarah. That's so sad. And then smashed. Stop being mean. It's her daughter. Great, you put us over the weight limit. And now you're calling her fat? How horrible. Justice for Sarah. I did no such... Morgan, counselor. Your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Who's asking? Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Young. I think this was our biochemist person. Let's go meet her. Shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up. I'll redirect your elevator now. Taking control of your elevator is very convenient. Forceful. As if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation. If Noble wanted to shut me down. They wouldn't bother to be subtle. I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate. Or just let the elevator drop. Yikes. Okay. Ooh, that's a design. Look at that lipstick. And the eyeshadow. Dang. Makeup on point. Alright. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? And here I thought I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. I feel like we should speak first, if only to let her feel like she has the upper hand. I don't have time for this inverted staring contest. I'm enjoying the view. I always liked this time of day. Not too muggy for you? No, I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. And you're in luck, and the sky gets more colorful every year. As the air quality drops. Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here. And Dr. Young, just Ms. is fine. Miss Young, I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here just to talk about the weather. No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years. Yes, we did. But as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help? She sent him, trying to be helpful, or just trying to control the narrative. He was great. But that must mean you know why I'm here. I don't want to make assumptions. No need. I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over. And every person I speak to. Yes, the lawyers made that all very clear. Lawyers? You have an android. It's not one of ours. You can tell that quickly. Got all the faces memorized? It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes. If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's last requests, apparently. Oh, oops. That's Morgan, whatever. David asked you to take it. I've been told that you've been to David's estate already. The police gave me full access to the scene. And you know that he wasn't alone last night. Yes. There was a single witness who met with him, called emergency services when he fainted. I was that witness. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Especially given what we know about the insurance. It could only have been so many people. Take a look at her real quick. Okay. Good at getting children to stop crying, huh? Hmm. Okay, so that's been updated with her. She's such an obvious suspect, it almost couldn't be her. Yeah, exactly. That's also what I'm thinking. Like, I feel like if it was her, we wouldn't learn more about her until later. Like, the fact that we're already getting this much interaction with her makes me think that it's setting up a red herring. That's my little, like... There's just too much. Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people David would bother meeting with in person, let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Young is his superior, on paper, though not in fame. And I knew that the witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation? Of course. They're pulling their hair about it as we speak. I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you are well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind? Eventually you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record opened. Through legal means, or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion. And still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen. Touché. And... so perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well. You're doing this for my sake. No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic. Oh, she is so done with the company. She wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. But is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning, then? You went to his home last night? Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly. He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call, in person? We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays. I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked. About the good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves. How long ago was that? 7 or 8 years ago. Ms. Young? Putting a number on it, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought that a few minutes later that he would be dead. That he would commit suicide in front of me. A firm reply. What happened? Quarter before 8, he said he wanted a toast. He got up, walked back into his workshop, and then he must have went down into his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime, enjoyed the view. In other words, she stayed on camera. He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep. Oh, Sarah's face. She's not enjoying this, huh? Poor sweetie. You tried to wake him. He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system. You didn't think to use your phone? No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. With Number's emergency protocols summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor, as delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but... I just did what I could until they arrived. You went with them to the hospital, I take it? Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a tox screen, which came back clean. So did David's, for all the good it did him. I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point. I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCCE SOP, whatever the heck that means. That's what they're paid to do. You seem certain that it was suicide. Yes. Why? As I said, he got quieter as the time passed, and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said he was content. Standard operating procedure? Okay. I mean, that could mean a bunch of things. And he downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you? Curious, restless perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. Alright, let's go through the list. Yeah, we're about to find out what CCE means, I think. You said CCE Standard Operating Procedure a moment ago. What is that? CCE stands for Counter-Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Used in self-defense, you understand. So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned. They give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course. Usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops? Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely that they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart. Like snipers purposefully avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible. Like snipers purposefully avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. I love their dynamic. I love Sarah. She's so cute. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady. Or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. Oh, dang. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work. Insulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. So every consultant I've ever met at a cocktail party was actually Just throwing shade at consultants. It depends. Did they say they're consultants? Or did they say they were consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do you know people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get to David for years. And that's the timescale their plans operate on. Who would ever take the advice of a consultant? I'm totally blanking on what that's from. That's so familiar. I forget where it's from. But yes, very good. Hang on, water. If this was a... Oh, the series of unfortunate events show, yeah. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming. And they'd probably have struck first. I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Yeah, consultant arranges for the bottlers yet end up with Count Olaf. I think I don't remember that from the show specifically, but I remember it from someone else quoting the show. I have watched the show, but I don't think I remember it well enough to remember specific quotes, really. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time, under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice our actual authority was... There's also possibly a joke about the author's consultant role for the movie, where nobody really seemed to listen to him. Yeah, that's very funny. Inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made the one-point doctrine. That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. In general, she seems to be more kind of under the radar than him. Like, clearly she has a high position, but she's not, like, as much in the media. So I guess the stories don't talk about her. Interesting. And come to think of it, it's not a story I've ever heard from David himself. That is more suspicious, though. I mean, it may be that this whole situation just never really came up in their conversations, but, like, if it did, from what we've heard of David, he doesn't seem like the type to, you know, claim sole credit for something. We had this deadline. Self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9 and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David, tell him that it's not gonna happen. We're nowhere near finished and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat and I've just stopped pitching water. He says, "The President lives on the other side of the globe. You've still got all night until his end of day." We wrapped up at 4 in the morning. Just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sent the message and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then. Ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, but together, David and we had finally gotten a win. So David asks him if I've got anything to drink. I've got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle, says he wants to toast. Aw, look at them. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor. That was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. Aggressive defensive tactics, dang. This glass? What was this glass? It was ceremony for us. As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company at around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game. So was he unpopular around here? Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps. How so? He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just... not everyone could work at the same pace as he did, for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you would say that his work-life balance was... balance implied the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company. Wow. I mean, it's not a terrible way to think about it. Though honestly, I imagine for David, his work was his life. Fascinating. So was he in harmony? No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject. Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings. Wow. Scandalous. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday, and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. Yeah, the euphemism treadmill. Eventually work-life harmony will become problematic to the company culture in some way or another, and we need a new word. Yep, it sure is. I played my part supervising the launch, yes. Weren't you the one who designed serotonin? The factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, serotonin was little more than a novelty. A dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use that many fields. Is stream okay? OBS said it disconnected. I think it's probably fine, but just making sure. Still off for me for a second? Okay, yeah. I think it just disconnected briefly, but it's back now. Can you fill those roles on the A14 or A15? Okay, yeah, hopefully you guys didn't miss too much dialogue or anything. I think it was only out for a few seconds. No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. I wonder if that was because he already had plans for Sarah and was like, I need to learn more about this other stuff. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead. And just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments? Kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was. If they weren't paying him enough. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss would be felt for years. Poor baby. Stop making sad faces. Alright, let's talk about the baby. So this android, Sarah. Me? Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from. It's not in any of our systems. I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt you can find it in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me. No, never. Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources. There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card. The company's accountants are merciless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. I like her surprised face to that. You have a mailroom. Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. Why was she so interested in a mailroom? He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. Guys, David was such a cool, perfect genius, and he never illegally made an android. Yep. I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Except the hacking stuff. So why keep it secret? I don't know. But he was private, and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Oh no! Don't say that! No! It could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. Sarah is truly having a day. She sure is. Poor sweetie. A message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news. Never has a day been had more than this, yeah. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. Very different. Speed walking. Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zhenjiao? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? Nah. No way. No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. Sarah, maybe you're overspec'd. That's very true. She definitely is. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself, mentally, for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. So you knew it would be trouble. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me to someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. A champagne, flute, and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray. And it's bearing its fangs, too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... Relax. Adonai, it's growling. Is she scared of dogs? It's not growling at me. Is it growling at Sarah? Because that's not better. See? No, it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How'd you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. I don't like the implications of Sarah being her pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? That's true. I did notice that Sarah was not talking a lot in our previous conversation there. Sarah dog girl, allegedly. Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. I mean, she's been making plenty of comments that are not in response to anything, though. So I don't know if that tracks. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. Pet the dog! Is there fan art of Sarah petting dog? I feel like that would be so cute. Ultraviolets. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. I actually don't remember the context in which we talked about the musician guy. I think it was mentioned that David had been talking to him on a regular basis or something, and that, like, had they had some contact, like, just before the incident or something? Here, I can probably says something in somewhere. I don't think we have any, like, profile for this guy or anything yet, but I don't think we have anything about it. That's okay, we'll find out. I'm sure they'll recap in a bit. Saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? I don't know, it's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Morgan is just like, I am not talking about this subject with my daughter. Private investigator. Did you catch the killer yet? No. What the hell? I sent you his... Is that just pause, like, position? Or is that some kind of, acronym? I'm not sure. We're all adults here, probably. Sarah might not count. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. Why? If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started out working in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like IDK. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies? Eat this analogy. Did that come through, or did the characters break? It did not come through. It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I take it Cube is a programming language. I think it's been mentioned before, right? I can't pull up our thing. What's his face? Said something about some programming language. Or no, I think they were talking about a different programming language. They were talking about, like, the one that's, like, the current standard. This, I imagine, is something older. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. I would try to answer, but usually the game covers it right after. Yeah, don't worry about trying to answer things. Usually, if I'm asking stuff, it's rhetorical. Yeah, Tess is the one David invented. It's like Tesseract, right? Not JavaScript. But yeah, like, even if I forget some details, I'm sure the game will generally drop me enough hints to remember things. Like, if I ever, like, really get stuck on not remembering something, I'll ask for real. But generally, if I just ask a question, it's probably... I'm not expecting you to answer anything. Yeah, David didn't invent it, it's just the industry standard, yeah. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. Yikes. That's a really bad assumption to make. What? So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube. You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Where'd Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From, like, the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. I wonder if that's gonna end up being relevant somehow. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. Mean! Stop being mean! The stage for the talent. Pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark. Once you get past the bouncer, you think they might have met here. David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? You know, that's a decent point. I don't imagine he was in any better shape than she was. Because it's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. One that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. He has so many opinions. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with the early 21st century punk rock. Debate settled. She's perfect. Oh, we can talk to this person, potentially. Are these the only things left to... Oh, something... No? Those might be the only two things left to click on. Alright, talk to the person last, I think. A bar, stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things? Yes, I can. What, like, android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guide for Noble's swarm models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through, with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charger separation anxiety. According to the net, swarm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? Sarah, dog confirmed. No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. Oh my god, that's terrible! I would expect it to be more at like some kind of electronics store, but maybe that wouldn't make sense. At like the hardware store or something. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever Father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef. Never hydroponic avocados. Foie gras. Wow. She's eating good, huh? Spoiled daughter. The vibe I get with Morgan is she has gotten real good at hiding what she thinks of as her most monstrous qualities. Yeah. Gives her a burger stat. Yeah. Let her have some food. Cube. That niceness isn't limited exactly to what society expects of a good person. Yeah. So she has absolutely no issues with, like, treating Sarah as an object. Because, like, androids are considered objects. Interesting. We have societies determined to treat Sarah as a pet. She will do nothing to refute that. Yeah, it doesn't blow her cover, so who cares? Yeah. Exactly. That sort of thing. I am not paying for any of that. Wait, there's something else. Ah, an article to read. What kind of reading material gets left out in the club? A tabloid interview? Alright, what have we got? Oh my god. Well, at least they're labeling the edited wait, they're labeling edited photos? That's, a lot better than we do these days. Oh my gosh, why is it so hard to scroll? Dang. Most beautiful woman in the world, like, objectively? The whole animal talk. I have a suspicion Morgan does not like animals, but only a cold-hearted monster doesn't like animals, supposedly. Actually, did she even say that she likes animals? I think she just said only a cold-hearted monster wouldn't like animals, and then didn't actually specify. Just kind of left the implication that she totally does like animals. She's not a cold-hearted person. Got good at playing nice for societally approved pets like puppies and whatnot, but again, no such respect for androids. Yeah. Yep. I'm just like locked into a brand name now. God damn. So is this some like influencer basically? Like ultra influencer? Oh, come on, scroll please. Just like with that conversation, she says, my stress is bad for your skin and mine's flawless, implying that she doesn't have stress. But she doesn't say it outright. She says, I have flawless skin, therefore I must not have stress. But she doesn't actually say it. Interesting. There is a stereotype of serial killers usually starting out with animals, so yeah, I absolutely would not be surprised if she has at some point killed animals. Okay, well I think I get the gist of this. Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. Might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. What the heck kind of face is it? I just can't even imagine someone just being labeled the, like, unambiguous, most beautiful person in the world. In the meantime, she's... I mean... both, to an extent. I think kind of the subtext was that she is restricted in a lot of ways. So this is probably the way to go. I don't seem to have gotten points for that, though. So maybe I was wrong. Trapped between a rock and a hard place. If she steps out of line. I guess maybe the other side of that is that she can easily control these, like, the, like, sponsors and stuff. Her sponsors will bleed each other dry in bidding wars for her wardrobe's limited real estate. It's no skin off her back. She's already got more money than she could ever spend. But corporations can't afford to not keep growing. So they never reach a point where they can afford to lose. She's smart enough to take advantage of that. Good for her. Okay, yeah, that's him all right. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll... I don't know what's better with this guy. Normally I would say play it straight is kind of the way to go. But I don't have enough of a read on this guy yet. Love the nail polish, by the way. Let's try playing it cool. Hey there. Hey. Some sick beats out there on the floor, right? Sick beats. Yeah, or whatever, man. Okay, yeah, maybe this wasn't the right play. Morgan is bad at this. The hell? Are you a fucking cop or something? This isn't a cop bar. Oh dang, I actually lost a point for that. The face. And you really aren't really dressed like a cop. God damn, you're media, aren't you? Leaping vultures, man. Oh dang! It keeps going down! Perhaps I should start over. How do you do, fellow kids? Yeah, Morgan incapable of playing it cool. My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. I'm currently his lawyer. Can we talk? Not here. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. It was really bad, yeah. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac, it's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary. So why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah? Yes, Adonai. The hell? Nothing transmitting. I am not streaming any data, no. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We're together. I ended it. Yesterday. Well. Well. Care to elaborate? On our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once, and I can get it on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. Sarah, is this your dad? Maybe. Well, clearly he never actually met her, so... not much of a dad. I don't think that counts. I'd seen him come in a few times. Each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting a single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. The dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes. Still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious, or stupid, or shameless, or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been cancelled. His date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd insisted on coming there, night after night. Just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in, a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, "'Cause I like your music." Aww, that's sweet! Man, that took me off. It was cute early on. Him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. I liked that we gave each other space, you know. Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until... There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. At some point, I started to understand where his priorities were. How I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me. At some point. Unfortunately for the single population of the city, David Asher had incredible game. Oh no. Well... I don't know if he had incredible game. He seemed to have an easy time getting dates, which might just be because of his reputation. A very hard time keeping them, which does not speak to any amount of Riz, let's be real. That's good at being a boyfriend. Yeah, that for sure. So I pulled away a little. Wanted to see if he'd notice. Miss me. Testing him. That isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days, and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. David was busy raising his daughter, it's true. He didn't want to fight with me. Because he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still a stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night. I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. Had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. But he answered. First string. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. Everything ticks you off, doesn't it? So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. Told him exactly how insignificant I felt as a boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called him to tell him. I love that even Sarah has, like, the emotional intelligence to know that that's a bad thing to say. She's very perceptive for an android who has not, like, socialized with people ever. Oof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean. Ready for something new. And then this morning, I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now, you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear all about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline. The straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that I was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. Are you serious? Don't have all the facts. And you do. Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Wonder if Sarah likes punk rock because David listened to punk rock to bag this baddie. Maybe. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it. No summons. The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. Though it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter had been so melancholy. I think... Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words. Need to steal them from somewhere first. Butcher them before shitting them back out. I was not trained on any data sets that... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. Oh my god, the fact that her eyes glow like through the UI. Oh. What the hell was that about? I was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model in early 21st century. I don't want to theorize too much about the case, but I can think of some sad reasons David might have said the things he did in that order. Yeah, I don't really know yet what exactly he meant. So I mean, for the thing about the like, is that all you wanted to say to me? That definitely could have had some other meaning. Like he was expecting something else. Like maybe he was also like feeling hurt about how, you know, Isaac had been kind of what's the word? Like playing mind games with him and was like hoping to hear something about that. But I mean it would still be a pretty shitty thing for him to say, but you know, he's not necessarily known for being a very, you know, socially competent person. Yeah. I don't really know yet. What was going on with him? There was also, by the way, this might explain the whole thing about what he said about being happy to end things here or whatever. I forget exactly what he said, but he could have potentially been talking about the relationship. Because his conversation with Miss Young would have happened after that. It's possible David hears Isaac's complaints as instructions. These are my problems with that relationship. Understood, I'll get right on that. Yeah. I definitely think he could interpret things that way. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? Well, you were kind of complaining that she didn't talk to anyone. What'd you expect? I wanted to. I just felt that I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. That's so sad. Poor Sarah was just trying to help. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is. I'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. Back here. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Thought I'd approach this from the other angle. The other angle. You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system. Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? You must have ingested it orally. Just sample whiskey until we get poisoned. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question? I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right. An airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left with is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Hunt's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup. Results were inconclusive. I wonder if it's possible that he, ate something, and then there was no evidence left over. Young was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude, then, that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical, and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0. David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude, then, that he got them both from this bar. Better. 5 points. Little smug face, I love her. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches the poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup, then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes, and he didn't poison himself in that time, you would have a perfect alibi for the crime. Proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. Spooky. What do you mean? This whole building is coded head to toe in penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. If you... I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Well, there were potentially people targeting him and all that. Beats me. He was brilliant, and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think. I don't. What the hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time's short. Gather facts now, and leave the computation for later. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe you'll find a cocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder. A kind of step ladder. Not a ladder. Oh, we're doing this, are we? What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. A classic. And it's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again, ever. Beautiful. Why would you ever keep talking about ladders and step ladders? What a silly thing to say. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No. But he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking. There must be some reason for it. I wonder if it was also, like, part of whatever setup he had going here. Is this whole room, like, rigged with something? I don't even know. Since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story, based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. It's so dramatic, I love her! A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the global Donkey Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings. The man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. Are you saying that David also had this strength? When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller only had this to say. That man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene, when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. It's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money, no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, he physically changed, getting taller, bulkier, capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do, just because of how he looks on the outside. What's that? Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. Poor child. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I never noticed that crack before. I assumed that she must have made it somehow. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. Huh. How? Did it drop a weight? A bunch of times over and over in the same spot? Very mysterious. Okay, is that it? So is that the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter? Two apex forces of nature, creatures of the forest. Stag and the tiger. I think. Where are you getting that? Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus. There's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially. Well, bunk bed would apply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. How did it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It is a Tethys basic sturdy cure. That anti-hack feature in the name is real. It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open. It'll be a 6-character password. Some combination of numbers. Or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? Oh, god damn it. Ah. Okay, wait, hey, can I, like... So I'm assuming it's something that you can find in this investigation, and not something from previous ones? It could... I'm not sure, though. Can I back out of this? No dice. Be your birthday, or his. If David set the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. But, as you say, Adonai. No, he would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact. I can't explore. Interesting. Huh. So this is something the game expects you to remember. I mean, like, Morgan would fit, but that seems a little bit on the nose. Trying to remember about, like, their history together and if there's anything that would work. Unfortunately, I've been kind of, you know, playing this game in somewhat scattered amounts. So I don't remember the stuff from, like, the first investigation and whatnot. Why not Morgan? I can try Morgan. Like, it's... M-O-R-G. Was that your name you just tried? I love that. So even if it's not correct, I think it's really funny that the game has special text for it. It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Adonai is 6 characters. I could... that would be weird, though. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. I mean, did he know that that's kind of what she would... Was there some word that only the 2 of you knew? I mean, that wouldn't really count as something that the 2 of them knew, because that's more specifically a Sarah thing. A nickname? Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan. But not everyone. Okay, yeah, it's definitely Adonai. Okay. Opening. What was the password, Adonai? Well... You'd never guess. Because, yeah, she said that it was, like, something that would be only obvious after the fact. Like, in this case, it's something that you would only be able to get after you've gone in the room and woken up Sarah. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. The only way to learn the word Adonai is if Sarah was woken up, which only Morgan's DNA could do. Yeah, exactly. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. Someone noble built this penthouse for one of their executives. Someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. Who? Like, how? I guess you would have had to do that, like, without leaving any kind of trail. Given, like, all of the surveillance in this setting, seems like a lot would have to go into actually keeping this secret, like, even from the company. That's crazy. All David had to do was repurpose it. Could have just paid off the engineer. I don't know, like, it would take more than just one engineer, you know? It's a real Batcave conundrum, yeah. Like, you would have had to get materials for it, you would have had to have this, you know, designed and built. I don't know. I don't know. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. Not beating the dog allegations. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale. It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here very recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton android, and a secret phrase? If David set a password on his PC after all that... I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in. They're looking for camera footage. I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly. The The files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday, at around 4 p.m. You were asleep then. The only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course. It's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking? I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai. But they are encrypted. Damn it, David. You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer. What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? I don't know, Can you break his encryption? Yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window! No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. You've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, as long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. The unintentional burn, I love it. Sarah's learning how to backsass, yes. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files, and we'll work on them as we travel. You can leave whenever you're ready. I can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork. Bonds and holdings. A platinum bar. His birth certificate. Might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, binder. Noble's logo on the front, and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese, even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership over the android-designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back, but he already made up his mind about all of this? If you had, why'd you hide it where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. The word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Oh, that's so cute. That's a collector's item. Stop it! We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do, then. I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. I could at least pick a charitable institution. Oh, stop being mean to your daughter! And stop threatening her to donate her. So rude. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You didn't cheer up in the car. Give us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There's an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. Uh-oh. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. Android equivalent of shipping her off to boarding school. I think I might actually end the episode here since we're switching scenes. It's maybe a tiny bit early, but also my voice is kind of starting to get tired. So I think I probably should quit while I'm ahead. It's like, I'm gonna lose all my money from that Heartbreak defense case. Actually, before we sign off, though, I do want to check up on our new stuff. So we got this guy. Man, I fucked up so badly with this guy. Morgan playing it cool was not the play. Okay, this one we've already seen. Okay. Are there any details in here? No. Role-playing as David, obviously. I feel like at some point we're going to read more closely into this and find something that would be some sort of, like, motive for murder. That contract's gonna be important, yeah, for sure. And I love how we just left Sarah to process, because she's going to just decrypt that thing in the middle of the trial. And it's gonna be a whole thing. Updated surveillance report. Tax-free transaction, fortunately. Okay. Alright. I think that's going to be it for today. We're gonna save. Let's save. Alright. Well, thanks for coming. Man. Poor Sarah. She's such a sweet baby girl. And she's having such a bad time. It's terrible. Justice for Sarah. I feel like every time Sarah talks, I'm immediately just like, oh, so cute. She's adorable. She deserves better than Morgan. Can't wait for the trial. Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Alright, well, I hope you guys are enjoying this game too. And thank you so much for coming. I'll see you guys next time. Next stream will be Thursday evening, 7 p.m. EST, as usual. So, I'll see you then. Good night.